Ooh, it's the Illusion, reporting from somewhere on Spaceship Earth. 6:30 in the morning, heading back over to this job. Let me explain why. I'll let you guys check out the drive as we talk here. So, this job ended for me a week ago because I was gearing up to start surfing. It's fall in California, and fall in California is usually the best time to surf ever, but it's flat. It's as flat as could be, and it's going to be as flat as could be for the next couple weeks. So I spent the last week just puzzled, right? There's been a couple waves, like, some warm-up waves, basically, but nothing really that counts, man. Just basically kind of garbage. But while I was working, there were a couple really decent days up the coast that I missed, and blah, blah, blah. So I'm sitting there, and I realize I might as well just go to work, because there's nothing else going on. And then, it's too hard to do it that way. So then it hit me this morning, right? Let me explain the one, I guess you'd call it regret of life is this, and it has to do with surfing. So I'm sitting there and, I stacked a bunch of cash the last 30 days, man, and I'm sitting there and I'm so non-attached to the cash world that I'm like, this stuff's useless to me because what am I going to do with it, man? All I want to do is just go surfing. All I want to do is go surfing, and there's nothing I can do about an ocean that's turned flat on me. Right? So I'm heading back over to the valley just to keep myself busy for the next couple weeks. Hopefully the surf will start pumping one of these days. Who knows, man? But anyway, so I woke up this morning and I started thinking, and I was like, it hit me like a sledgehammer, and the moment of realization. So when I was younger, my teens and early 20s, man, I was your full-on burnout Spicoli surfer guy. Had a VW bus. All I did was surf, rip bong hits, and mind my own business, man. I was all about it. And then the propaganda programming got to me at some point, and it convinced me that I needed to go seek higher education and have a career and all this kind of nonsense. So I left California, moved to Flagstaff, Arizona, went to college, where skateboarding really became an integral part of my life. I'd always skateboarded, but I was out in Flagstaff and it was like skateboarding. And I pick up snowboarding at the time out there. But we're not talking about snowboarding or really skateboarding for that matter. So anyway, I take this, I alter my life course. I go and become a college student for real. At that time, I had just been like a junior college student, basically using it as a cover story to go surf more. I'd moved back up to Santa Cruz, spent a couple winters up there just chasing full-blown Santa Cruz surf, and I was just, and so then I buy into this whole like, yeah, I gotta further my education. So I do this, I alter my life. It's now years later, maybe 3 or 4 years later. I'm down in Costa Rica. I'm down in Capos. And I have this trippy day where I walk like 10 miles to go surfing down at this beach break. And I just get skunked, man. It's small, it's closed out, it's garbage. I have to walk the 10 miles back. What's really weird there is I distinctly remember this. I end up passing in Spanish the little teeny Alcoholics Anonymous sign in the jungle somewhere. And I remember it stood out to me because I was like, whoa, this stuff's down here. But I had no idea what it was at the time. I remember seeing the symbol and the sign and something clicked. I've never forgotten that. But anyway, so I keep walking. I get back up to where we're staying. My essentially like Godfather type character in my life had an eco hotel down there between Capos and Manuel Antonio in the jungle. So I get back and I'm sitting there and I'm just start crying, man. Like I'm crying, and my mom comes up to me. I'm down there with the family, right? And my mom comes up to me, she's like, what's wrong? And I go, I blew it. I've totally made the wrong choice in life, and it's left me. And I go on to explain that, when I knew what happiness was when I was the full burnout Spicoli surfer, man. I was at the happiest I've ever been in my life. I was just chasing surf. I had no cares in the world. And then I went this alternate path because I thought there was something more to life. I bought into the bullshit, right? And I thought there was something more to life. And I have the harsh realization sitting on this chair at this hotel that I traded in happiness for unhappiness. And I'm sitting there, and my mom's tripping out, I'm tripping out, and they don't get it, dude. So years go by. Now it's circa 20 years later, and I'm sitting here, and I live at the edge of the Pacific. You have to understand, at one point in my life, I was going to buy a house in the Poconos of Pennsylvania and settle down and fully just never even think about surfing again. Like, I've always been a surf addict, but there was a point where I was just like fully content to live in the Pocono Mountains and be a dude rancher. Anyway, that didn't work out. So I came back to the West Coast to fully chase the surfing dream one more time. And the thing that I had realized 20 years ago, and it kind of bites me in the ass every now and then, is I miss the boat, man. Plenty of people I know in the early 90s took off and followed their surfing dream, and now they have their own private surf resorts over in Indonesia and wherever, and they're sitting there where the surf is pumping. Because this is my trip. If you're sitting around America claiming to be a surfer, you're lying to yourself, man. Because America's probably one of the most surf-handicapped continents on spaceship Earth from my research. Anyway, so yeah, I'm not a surfer because I'm sitting here in Southern California, home of the failed surfer's dream. Yeah, no irony in that. So I'm sitting there this morning, and it just dawned on me again, fuck. Damn it. There's no takebacks in life, right? I made my bed and I gotta sleep into it. But when I'm sitting there looking at the Pacific Ocean the last 4 days, and the conditions are absolutely prime time. It's sheet glass, it's beautiful, it's sunny, and the ocean's flat. It gets under my skin, man. Because I just want to go surfing. Yeah, Like, all right, and that gets me back to skateboarding. Like, I don't skate for the sake of, like, skateboarding. I skateboard because it's surfing. When I'm skateboarding, I'm surfing the concrete wave, man. I'm not out there, like, skateboarding because I'm a skater, so to speak. I'm out there skateboarding because it's as close as I can get to surfing when there's no waves. Like, I love skateboarding. Skateboarding saved my life. If it wasn't for skateboarding, I would have, like, probably killed myself. And, you know, that's the thing. That's why, you know, I ended up moving to the Burnside and all these things, was because I had realized I had fucked up the surfing dream, and I'd better find a fallback position real quick. So all of a sudden, here I am. I got a stack of cash. It doesn't mean anything to me because the ocean's flat. It's a weird travel bubble. I got, you know, all of a sudden I have a bunch of things I need to do this month. You know, I got to go do this radio interview next week. I have to go to, I said I'd go be a judge down at the Bull Bash down at the Etnies Skate Park. You know, I said I'd be at these places, so I can't just, like, get on an airplane and disappear because I've made commitments, man, and you don't go back on your word. I don't know. So I guess what I'm trying to say is this. If you know what makes you happy, don't alter your course based upon the propaganda, man. I guess that's what all these videos are all about to, like, the young people out there, is like, I knew what made me perfectly happy in this lifetime. And I didn't follow that dream, man. I let the nonsense of this society waste a bunch of time in my life. And so, yeah, I sit around. People wonder why I'm so jammed up about surfing. It's like, I'm not supposed to be in Southern California if I'm a surfer. It's the absolute sign of failure at this stage in my life. So I have to find success in other ways. But when I sit and I look out on the ocean and I know there's nowhere I can drive. I don't even have a car. That's why I don't even have a car anymore. It just doesn't matter. It's some lemonade, bro. So yeah, I was like, whatever, man. I looked at the surf forecast. I realized there's not going to be any waves for like 2 weeks. I'm like, I might as well just go and, like, bang on wood, man. Like, fuck. I don't know. A little bit of sourness, I think, in this update. But, you know, I can only, like, pass on the message to those who follow is, don't make the same mistakes I did. You know, that surfing jam up, man, that led me into, like, a real deep, dark alcoholic depression for many years, where I would just sit at the edge of the Pacific Ocean knowing I denied happiness. It's weird. So, you know, I make the best of it. What am I going to do, man? I got to just be here in the now. Like, that's all I can do is be here now. Like, I can't sit there and dwell on the past and, like, oh, if I could go in the Wayback Machine and change that decision I made once upon a time, everything would be fine. Like, I made my decision, I made my bed, I got to sleep in it. But every now and then, the harsh reality of that decision comes back to, like, haunt me. It's like a ghost, man. It's the ghost of surfing past. I don't know what I'm getting at. Yeah, I do. But anyway, don't give up on your dreams. Don't listen to anybody. If you know what makes you happy, pursue it to the lengths, to the ends of the world, man. It's illusion. I gotta go buy some sharp chisels.